You know, being devoted to something means giving everything that you have, and we give that to our family. We give that to the things that we love to do. I mean, it's going to be an adventure every single day that we carry out into the outdoors or on the lake, on the ice. Each and everything that we do, we have that devotion.
We can't thank the man above enough for what he's given us here and all these cool, awesome experiences that we have. That's the true blessing that we really have in this whole thing.
Got one, got him! That's him! Let's go! Yes! Bring! Got him! You're actually you got ourselves a big one here. Oh man!
Oh wow!
That's
a good one there.
Good.
Oh, got it!
Yeah,
Got it.
nice. Drink on me.
Oh, he's hit! Oh, I got it!
Look at that!
I'll tell you what, when she goes on like this, this is what you come
why
for.
we're here.
That is, Lakewood and muskies are so pretty. They get that green phase to them. That is probably the biggest pike I've ever seen, man. Okay, go up.
See you later, girl.
Is it beautiful? Oh my gosh.
Got him?
Got him. Oh, that one just inhaled it. Did you see that?
Nice. Right here. Come here. Right here, get ready. She's coming in hot.
Yep.
Coming in fast.
Yep.
Yeah!
Yeah! Nice one!
Giant!
Nice one, babe!
That's her. I'm pretty sure that's her. What's going on, everybody? We are at one of our favorite times of the year to get out in the woods with our kids and to find some morel mushrooms. What we're going to do today is we're going to show you guys exactly what we do and how we find morel mushrooms. Along with also we're going to look for some fiddleheads too, which are a couple of our favorite things to eat, aren't they?
Yeah.
You guys love finding them?
Yeah.
Should we tell everybody? Should we tell everybody how to find them and what they need to do to find them?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
How do
right.
you find them?
You need to, well, for morel mushrooms, you need to look on by swamps and by trees with moss.
Well, that's a good start. So anyway, as you can see, our kids are very enthusiastic and going out. This is one of our favorite times of the year. We've been cooped up all winter long. It's a beautiful sunny day out. And as you can see, things are starting to green up and the morel mushrooms are popping. So we're going to give you guys kind of a big walkthrough of what we do and how we do it so that you guys can go out there and experience the same thing. So
Yeah, I mean, right now we were just saying on the way in, you want to find some young popples, and we were just noticing that the leaves are just starting to come. They're about halfway opened up already, and that's a really telltale sign that the morels should be popping as well. So yeah, it's looking great out here. We've been kind of checking, you know, as it starts to warm up, you know, the temperature of the soil should be anywhere from 45 to 50 degrees, somewhere in there.
for sure.
So yeah, you want a lot of moisture. You want warm, like 70-degree weather. It kind of warms up that soil really quick. And we've been checking every day, and we're thinking today's the day. You think?
Yeah.
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 All right.
So we'll do a kind of a walkthrough and show you guys what we're looking for and how we do it. So you guys ready to go find some mushrooms?
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that you want to really do when you're picking morel mushrooms is use a bag that's got kind of a meshy bag like this. One of the reasons why we do that is because when you pick them and you put them in the bag, it gives them the opportunities to drop their spores around, and it kind of just keeps them. Not only that, but if you put them in a regular bag, they're 99% water. So if you put them in there, they're going to start to get a little moist. They'll break down a little bit. So if you keep them in a bag like this, also does two things. Like I said, it aerates them, and it also kind of spreads the spores around. So when you're picking morels, make sure you get a bag that's kind of open and porous like that. So very important when you're picking morels. So I think we're going to find some here. Looks right.
So I just spotted one here. It's growing out of some moss, and that's exactly what you want to look for because it holds a lot of moisture. As you can see, there's a lot of leaf litter around us, and that holds a lot of that moisture on the ground, and they have to have a good amount of moisture to grow. And it's a really wet year so far, so it's looking to be a really great year for these growing. I looked here, saw that one, and I like to crouch down and look around. Because a lot of times if you do that, you know, where you find one, you'll find more. So I actually spotted another one at the base of the tree over there, just growing on some moss that's just kind of right around the base of that tree. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep here for just a minute or two and kind of look around and see if I can't spot any more. And yeah, let's get some more. I'm about to pick this one here, and one thing I want to point out that's really important is you want to just pick it so that you pick just the stem, because if you get the root, a lot of times it'll prevent it from growing again next year. So you only want to pick right here and leave that root in there because it's going to help you to have more morels next year.
Found the first one. And that right there is what we were after. The old morel.
Here's another one I found, and it had the two things, most important things, the leaf litter and moss. So I actually picked it up off like an old rotting piece of wood that was deteriorating, and it had some moss growing on it, and it was literally hiding right underneath a leaf. So they're kind of hard to spot, but again, like we were talking about, just crouch down, look all around, look under leaves. A lot of times we'll find them even popping through leaves. And so yeah, they're just kind of hiding under that cover, and they do blend in pretty good. So you got to really watch, and at first it might be a little tricky to find them, but you start to get an eye for it, and it gets a lot easier the more you do it.
That's a good one right there. Oh, they're so fresh. These are just at the beginning stage of morels, and so that right there is a really good one. And what we get up north here is the black cap. This is a black cap morel. There's a few other species of morels, and up north here we only usually get the black caps. There's some occasions where you can find yellows and grays around here, but the most commonly sought after one in northern Minnesota is the black cap. So this is what we're after, and I will tell you right now, I am very excited to take a bite out of this thing.
I like eating morels because then you get to eat them after, and then it's the most part where you get to wait, and then you get to have them after, because then you get to wait for a little while, and then you get to eat it.
So we're kind of early on. We came out, checked some spots, and we're on one of our favorite spots right now. And as you can see, I found this little guy right here. And it is very, very small. So actually what we like to do is we like to do some scouting missions, and you come out here and you look and you can find little ones. And when you find the little ones, you know, once you get into an area that you know, eventually you're gonna just be able to let them grow, and you can keep an eye on them so that they're ready to go when you're gonna pick them. You know, obviously a mushroom like that isn't gonna do a whole lot in a frying pan, especially when they fry down. It's gonna be really small, so why pick it? Just let it be. Come back in a couple days after it's been warm, and guess what? You'll be able to pick that thing when it's 3-4 inches long. So we're gonna let that one be, along with multiple others that we found today. But you know, we've already got a good start to the day. We just started. We've already got like 8-10 mushrooms, so it's looking really good. Things are starting to progress the way that we want it to. So I think we're gonna find some good eaters. So
Dad, I found a couple.
You got a couple there?
Yeah.
Where at?
Well,
that's funny because I just found that one. Oh yeah, look at that. Awesome, Braylon.
There.
Cool. Nice. Those are good ones too. Yep, go ahead and pick them. Heck yeah. Couple good morels?
Yeah.
Awesome. Throw them in there. Okay. What do you think?
I'm gonna go look for more.
It's so fun to do this with the kids. It's literally like a scavenger hunt for them. There's a couple over there, Brand, so be careful. I saw them. But it's literally like a scavenger hunt. And honestly, the kids are almost better at finding these things than we are, because they're so low to the ground. And that is one of the biggest key factors in finding these things, is being low to the ground like that, like we talked about earlier. And so they have a really good advantage on us, and that's why we had kids to find morel mushrooms. So that's a good one. Why do you like picking them so much?
Because the most part of picking morels is that I get to eat them, and they're so good.
They are delicious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun. Isn't it fun sitting out here finding them?
Yep.
Yeah. We love coming out here and finding morels, don't we?
Yeah.
Put them in the bag. Nice one. Good eye, honey. Awesome. I think there's going to be more over here. There's one there, so there's going to be more here. You find one? Oh, look at Braylon's got one over here. Careful. Don't step on any.
Found one.
Oh, look at that. You found one too. Look at that. Pick them.
Mom, I found one. Yeah,
Perfect.
come here. It's a good one too.
It's a good one, Mom.
It's really big. Come here.
Here, pick them. Nice, honey. Good eye. We almost stepped on them. See, that's why you got to go a little slow, right? And then you got to keep an eye. So we don't. You got a nice one over there, Braylon?
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, there's. Oh, you find one too, Mom? Oh man, they're all over the place. See, this is what it's all about right here. You find one, you're gonna find a bunch, and once you start finding them, it's so much fun to do this. It's unreal. Like, you got to get out here and do this. I mean, it's a natural resource that is available to anybody. There's plenty of state land that we're on state land right now. There's plenty of state land around that holds morel mushrooms. It's not something that you have to go spend a bunch of money to do. It's free to do. You come out here and you spend time with the family. You get out after a long winter and you go find something really delicious to eat. And that is what it's all about. So let's go see these mushrooms over here. Nice. Good one, Braylon. Look at that. Oh, look at Braylon. Look at. Hey, guess what? You look at. You just picked that one. Look right next to Joe's foot.
Right there.
Look at that. Joe almost stepped on him. We got him. Look at that. Another one. Booyah. Heck yeah. Look at that. Starting to fill her up.
Okay, so we literally just found one, and the whole family came, and Brindley was gonna pick it for me. And all of a sudden, Braylon comes over. She goes, "Here's one," and John says, "Here's one." And all of a sudden, we start looking, and we can see them all clear all the way around.
Yeah.
So this is a really good spot. Another, example of coming down, squatting down, just taking a second and looking everywhere, because we're all spotting them here together. So
Yeah.
Can I talk now?
sure. What do you want to say?
Here's the most spot that we like because we see lots of them all around here.
Lots
John
of them.
just found lots of them. Braylon spotted one and
All right, you want to pick it?
yeah.
Go ahead and pick them.
Good
Braylon,
job,
you gonna pick
babe.
yours?
Here, put it in the bag.
No, just pick 'em.
Huge one.
Okay, go ahead and pick 'em.
Yeah, it is a big one. That's a nice one.
One of the things to keep in mind too is that this is actually one of our favorite spots from the past. And when you find, they're finding them all over up there, but when you find morels, you can usually come back year after year and find them in the same spot. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you're picking them so that the base stays in the ground. Using your bags like this, doing everything you possibly can to keep that area for the future. And honestly, it's worked really good for us the way we do it, because we've come to this spot. This is probably our 8th or 10th year in a row coming to this specific spot and finding a lot of mushrooms. So keep all that stuff in mind. It's really important. It's more important than a person really thinks about. And so just keep it in mind and make sure that you got enough mushrooms for the future too. So we're going to keep on picking, but the girls over here, they're finding them left and right. So let's go over there and take a peek at what they found. I know Braylon's got a big one over there. You got a big one, Braylon?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I found 3.
You found 3? Yeah. No way. You
There's
got 3 of
one.
them over here?
I see another one.
Wow. Let's take a peek at that. You really found 3 of them?
And another one.
I see one there. Oh, look at Ashley. You got one right next to your hand. There's 4 of them right there.
No, buddy, step.
What's your favorite part about picking mushrooms, Braylon?
That whenever we pick them,
Braylon found one too.
whenever we pick them, when we put them in the bag and we put them all together, we get enough to fry them in the pan, and when we do that, everybody would fight over the plate, and
we do kind of what we
we have to split them. That means
we split them evenly. Otherwise we try and fight over them, don't we? They're so darn good. Yeah, that's cool.
Here's a really big one here. That's a super nice one. We've been finding a lot of smaller ones because I think we're just right away at the start here, but there's been a few bigger ones, and pretty soon in a few days they'll all be like this. So it's looking to be really, really good.
Mom,
can you freeze where you're at and pick that one?
which one? Did I stick in the hole?
See if you can spot it. Look around.
I know, I see it right there.
Okay.
One right there. Another good one there. You know, picking morel mushrooms is actually really special to me because when I grew up as a kid with mom and dad at home, you know, this is one of our favorite things that we look forward to in the spring. A lot of people look forward to certain things throughout the year, and this is one of the biggest things for me. It's really fun to be able to come out here with the family and to be able to pick mushrooms with my kids now and show them, you know, being out in nature and showing them all the awesome gifts that God gives us to put on our table. You know, these mushrooms right here are going to go really good with our venison backstraps. So it's just something that we really look forward to, and it's something that we really feel is very important to teaching our kids too, is just showing them really cool values like this. Like, I mean, you're coming out here, you're picking food. Like, you know, it's no different than growing a garden or anything like that, or harvesting a deer or, you know, ducks and geese. And so it really holds a really special spot in my heart too. And I know it does for Ashley. Ashley grew up in the outdoors too. And we really feel like we owe it to our kids to be able to bring them up the same way and give them those same values. So, you know, don't hesitate to take your kids out and come out and enjoy nature like this, and go on a scavenger hunt for something to eat like that, you know, and just have fun with it. So
it's so much fun being out here in the woods with the girls and with John. It's something that we look forward to every year as a family, and we always get really excited in the springtime when it's they're excited obviously in the springtime when it's this time of year, and we love to just come out together as a family and spend time in the woods. And look at that one.
Yeah, there's a nice one there.
That's the one too.
Nice job, girls.
Right there.
Yeah, you see that one, Brady?
Yep.
Yeah?
Did you girls have fun today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morels are really camouflaged because a few of them in the bag, I looked over and I couldn't see it first, and then somebody else came over, and then I would find it, and then they'd be like, I found it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of tricky to find, aren't
Just
they?
so you know, the trick to finding a lot of morels is bringing veggie straws too. Just so you know, that's like number one key to going and finding morels.
Snacks.
You gotta have snacks for the kids. So, but did you guys have fun today?
Yeah.
We had a blast too. What do you guys think we should pick? Should we? Yeah, look at that nice
found
little
a lot
bag.
of them.
We've only been out here for not very long, and we
2
got a nice
bags,
couple
see?
bags.
Yeah.
Look at that. What do you guys think? We should pick these two, and should we go cook them up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna eat them.
I
Should we
don't
just
know.
look at them?
Maybe we'll just look at them. All right, well, we just got done picking morels, and we're actually in the hunt for another one of our favorite springtime foods to eat that we pick. You know, foraging is really fun to do, and this is another one of our, you know, favorites to do in the spring.
Yep, and
What are we after?
we're after Fiddlehead ferns. I know a lot of people might be like, what, you eat ferns? But yes, we do. And we're going to tell you a few bits and pieces that might help you when you're out in the hunt looking for them. Because you don't want to pick them when they're too big. What you're actually looking for are, we got a couple examples down here. Some with the newest growth, the really tight curls, just as they're popping up, that's what you want to look for. So we've been kind of scouting out, finding some areas here that we've been finding. But yeah, if they get a really nice, tender, fresh growth is what you're looking for, and they're kind of similar to like a spinach or an artichoke kind of flavor.
Yeah, they got a really good flavor, kind of a real earthy flavor. And the window on these is just so short. So you got to really do your research. And actually the best thing to do is to go out the year prior to when you're thinking about picking, and you go mark out your big locations and spots, because when they do grow up, they're big, they're tall, they're 3-4 feet tall, and they're easily to identify. So right here is where we got an example of the ones that you actually want to pick. So this is what they look like. You're looking for the old fern itself, and they're going to grow as shoots out of that. Okay, so what you're looking for is these nice tight curls, like Ashley was saying. That's what they look like right there.
Look at that. The girls are already finding some.
You finding some? Oh, Braylon's already got a whole pile.
I just put mine in there.
Did you? Nice. So they actually get kind of like a red paper on them too, and that's very common. So, you know, it comes off easy. And we'll explain to you guys how we cook them and how do we prepare them. But these are what you're looking for. You want them when they're coming directly out of the ground like that. And right over here is an example of what they look like when they get bigger. These are bigger ferns here. That's kind of a medium-sized fern. And as we pick here today, we'll go and we'll show you. You know, in fact, actually right here, here's a full, almost a full sprouted fern right here. So this is eventually what they look like. Obviously, you're not going to want to eat that. They kind of lose their flavor. They get a lot really bland tasting. But that's what this is when it starts. So that's kind of what you're looking for. You're looking for the lowland areas. As you can see in here, we got a big swamp right here. Ferns are they rely very heavily on moisture.
Yeah. Another thing about fiddleheads is we've done a little research kind of looking into them, you know, as we were starting to learn about them, and there's a ton of health benefits about them. They're really good for you. There's a lot of different vitamins and stuff that are in them, and it's awesome being out here in the woods when you can forage. I mean, like right in our own backyard we have some. And so it's amazing that you can get out, and once you start to get a little bit more knowledge about what's out there, it's awesome to be able to come out and forage with your family and pick these things. And I mean, they're here for a reason. It's part of nature, and it's just it feels good to be able to come out here and get them.
Definitely. What we kind of got the start of two parts of the concoction to a true Minnesota supper. So we're gonna fill you guys in on that, and we got to get some fiddleheads first. So we're gonna go at it. Start picking. Braylon's already got a great start for us, so you guys almost have it done. We're almost ready to go home. So, all right, let's go pick them. All right, so we went out, we picked our morels, we picked our fiddleheads. Last night, Ashley and I went out trolling for walleyes. We pounded the walleyes, so we got fresh walleye. And these back straps right here are courtesy of our mule deer from our Alberta trips. So this is the makings to the finest Minnesota supper you can possibly have.
Venison, fish, and some fresh forage.
Yep. What else can you ask for?
Yep.
One of our favorites. We look forward to these meals every year. It's a lot of hard work and effort put in, but the best part about this whole thing is when our family sits down at the table, it brings back all the memories of picking the fiddleheads, picking the morels, shooting the mule deer, catching the walleyes.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't get any better than that. It's such a cool experience to be able to sit down with their family at the table and share all of God's gifts with us. So. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to kind of clean both of these. Obviously the walleyes are already cleaned, the mule deer are already done, so I'm going to clean these up and we'll get them ready, and Ashley's going to get some stuff ready to start cooking, and we'll get her ready. Morel mushrooms are actually kind of delicate, so you got to really be careful with them. What I like to do is I fill up the dish, I put them in there, I fill it up, I let them start floating. They're going to start to float here in just a second. There they go right now. And once you get the water flowing, all you got to do is just kind of brush around. You don't want to squeeze them. You don't want to pick them hard. You just kind of sit there and you brush them around and you kind of just get all the debris off of them. And then what you do is you'll see here in a second, Give them a couple more swishes here. These ones actually we picked pretty clean, so they're not too bad. But you can already see all the stuff coming in and out of them. And then you just hold them back, strain them out. You don't want to lose any. Get rid of the moisture. And then I usually do that a couple times. You do that process 2-3 times. And then when you're done, make sure that you sit and make sure you get all the moisture out of them. Once you're done, then we'll just take and put them on a paper towel and let them kind of dry a little bit before we start to fry them. And that's kind of how you clean the old morels. So, all right, so that's morels. Morels are ready to go, babe.
All right.
Okay, and now we have fiddleheads. So fiddleheads are a little bit more messy than what morels are, but the same token, what I do is I put them in a more flat Tupperware. And as you can see, you got that red paper in there. That's very typical of fiddleheads, is you're going to have that red paper-like substance on them. So what we're going to do is we're just take and bring them over, and the washing process is a little bit longer than what the morel process is. So we'll get those started. Same thing, just kind of brush them around, try to get that red paper substance off of them the best you can. These ones are a little more tricky to strain out because they like to come out, but here nor there, you just keep on doing it, strain them out, dump them, wash them, and you just kind of keep on doing that same process a few more times than what the morels take. So it's going to take you probably about 6-8 times before you get all that paper off. And actually, you don't have to get every little bit of it off, because part of the cooking process that Ashley will explain takes the rest of it off for you. So just kind of get them to the point to where they're ready to go in to be cooked. Get the most you can off of it, and it'll be good. All right, pretty clean. Got most of it off there, and they are pretty much ready to cook, babe. All right, we got the walleye. We got everything ready to rock and roll. Ashley actually sliced up the back straps. We got the back straps all ready to rock and roll.
Well, as far as recipes and cooking go, you know, we don't like to add a whole lot, honestly, to everything that we pick, because we really think that just, you know, featuring exactly the flavor of the mushrooms and the fiddleheads and even the venison and the fish by itself is kind of the whole thing that we love. I mean,
Exactly.
That's the flavors that we love. So
Yep.
as long as you have butter and salt, you got everything you need.
Yeah.
So
Can't have fiddleheads and morels and venison without butter.
that's right. So
right.
yeah, so I guess I can start with the fiddleheads. All you want to do is you want to steam some water. I have a strainer in here. So you just go ahead and steam the water, get it nice and cooking hot. And then you want to steam the fiddleheads for a good 10 minutes or so. They kind of say that 10 minutes should be best. You don't have to worry too much about safety of fiddleheads, but it's just the most recommended time and the time that you're going to want to get that nice and tender. So I'm going to start that at 10 minutes here. Kind of keep an eye on that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to get a pan out and start sauteing some butter. You can choose, if you're a garlic fan, you can add a little garlic to the pan of butter for the morels, or if you like to keep it nice and simple, butter and salt should be all you need. So I'm going to get that ready as well. All right, so we're going to start frying up the venison steaks. So I just put a good generous amount of butter. It's a lot of steaks and it's going to be a lot of mushrooms. So put a good amount of butter in there. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fry the steak in the butter first till it's nice and still a little pink inside. And then I like to add the morels in because it gets a good steak butter flavor, and kind of it's amazing how much the morels really complement the venison. So I'm going to start with that, and then once the venison's just about ready, I'll add in the morels. All right, while we have our steak and our fiddleheads cooking, I'm going to get our shore lunch batter here in a bag. You know, a lot of people like to coat their fish with egg, and we've tried both, but we prefer just simple shore lunch in a bag, fried in oil. So I'm going to get that going here. Get that ready. Kind of nice, all the food that we have here. It really doesn't take that long to cook, so you can spend a little extra time in the woods and get back and still be able to cook up a nice supper. So I'm just going to heat up some oil for the fish. The venison's getting very close here, so kind of trying to time everything. But yeah, it's still, you can tell when the venison's ready because it gets that nice golden brown on the bottom and still a little bit of pink in the middle. You can still kind of see that line of pink, and that's how we like it. So I'm going to add in our morels here, and you're going to just let them soak up that good juice. I mean, you think about it, it's butter and steak juice. You don't want that to go to waste, so it's a perfect base for your mushrooms. Frying up the fish here. You want that nice and hot. You can tell it's ready by letting a little batter in there. You can see how it's simmering, so it means the oil's ready. Get her in there. That looks ready. Now I don't like to hit it with a lot of salt while I'm cooking because it'll suck the juices out of the venison. So I always like to wait till the end, and you're going to want a little extra salt. Trust me on this one. It makes it taste just perfect. Really enhances that flavor. And that's really all you need. Butter and salt, and you can really taste those flavors. The morels are actually like a steak in themselves, and they really complement that venison well together. So this just looks like it's cooked just perfect. Alright, so I've cooked my fiddleheads for 10 minutes. They look like they're perfectly ready. One thing I do want to bring up that was a little alarming the first time that we made fiddleheads is that the actual water from the fiddleheads after you've cooked them turns a little bit red. And the reason for this is that brown film that they have on the outside. So it's not red water. You don't have to be alarmed. You don't have to be worried about it. It's perfectly normal. So you just have to strain that out, and when you're done, you're just going to saute these in a pan. So I'm going to do that right now. So if you can see in here, that's that red water I was telling you about. Perfectly normal. It just comes from that film on the outside of the fiddleheads. So I'm just going to go ahead and strain that out. It's kind of another good process to cleaning too. It gets all that brown film out of there. There we go. And what does this meal need? A little more butter. We're going to fry them in butter. So about a tablespoon or two, depending on how many fiddleheads you have. This will probably fill the pan, so you want a generous amount. When you boil the fiddleheads, they get kind of soft, so that's partly why I like to saute them. It kind of crisps them up a little bit, and so they're not as mushy. And while the fiddleheads are cooking, I like to add some garlic powder. You could do fresh garlic as well if you like. If you're a garlic fan, we like a lot of garlic in our family. It's like, put a good amount of garlic on there. And again, a decent amount of salt here. I like to do it while it's cooking, so it kind of caramelizes with the butter. So I've been sauteing these for about, I'd say maybe 3 minutes or so. And as you can see on the bottom of the pan, the butter has kind of sauteed and simmered its way out. So that's how you know that they're just about ready. I don't like to stir them around too much because, you know, after you boil them, they're a little bit mushy. So I like to kind of let them sit, let them simmer, and then they'll start to get that crunchy edge. So you almost kind of want to flip them in the pan so they get that crisp edge. I'd say we probably have about another minute or so. Look at this, girls.
Look good walleyes too. Alright.
Hey.
How does that look, guys?
Good.
Does that look good?
You ready?
Okay, should we pray? Okay.
Lord Jesus, be our guest. Let these gifts to us be blessed. Amen.